What's up, YouTube? For this upcoming week, I am starting a series called Traptrix in Depth. It'll be a combination of videos and shorts where I'll explain the ins and outs of this deck. For this specific video, I am doing the deck profile, so where it all starts once again. Upcoming videos are going to be opening hands versus certain meta decks, my siding patterns explained, and some tips and sneaky interactions that the deck actually has that you or your opponent might not know about. Now let's get into the deck profile. First things first, the engine. Triple Myrmelio, triple Mantis. These are your starting cards, the openings of the deck. You shouldn't be playing any less of this. They give you pluses, and these cards on their own give you Serra with at least a trap card to play in your opponent's turn. That's everything you need. We are going minimalistic. In a format that is mostly dominated by fire decks, and then there's also a voiceless voice running around, you need a lot of non-engine. So your engine needs to be cut down, and that means playing less engine, playing more cards that you get actually pluses. So you need these. Double Dionea. One is for your opening turn combo if you have it. The second one is for follow-up. It's also more names to make Serra turn 1, which is important. One Arachnocampa, one Vesiculo. You need these in case you want to search them. They are important. They offer link climbing, they offer protection, and they offer follow-up. So yeah. And then the final Traptrix monster is triple Traptrix Beautica. I was testing 2 out for a little bit. 2 Beautica, 2 Field Spell in a 40 card deck. Now I'm on 3 Beautica, 1 Field Spell in a 41 card deck. So the numbers are actually in my favor to opening a Traptrix monster with 13 monsters. So like with these, that's 13 Traptrix monsters. In a 41 card deck, I have 87% chance to opening a Traptrix monster, which is actually 2% better than having 12 monsters in a 40 card deck. A little disclaimer for now. I have a small paralyzation on the right side of my face, so if I have some slip-ups in the language, it's because my mouse isn't working as well. I'm healing, so yeah. Don't worry about it. As I said before, one garden. The card is really great, and I really like playing too, but I came to the realization that having a minimalistic build also means that I don't always have two or three Traptrix monsters in my hands to actually make this viable. So I went with 3 Beautica and 1 Field Spell again. It's been a while that I was on 1 Field Spell, so it's it's kind of weird again for me, but hey. Triple Holotea, this card is still the heart and soul of your deck, you need it. Double Gravedigger Straphole, I'll stand by this. This format, everything triggers in hand or graveyard or even in the banished pile. This is the best thing that you can run. Double Gravedigger Straphole, it's nuts. And then one Traptrix Straphole Nightmare. The reason I'm playing this over the Floodgate, Floodgate doesn't do that much this format. All the Snake Eyes cards, they contribute itself with another monster, like with another card, and just summon the Flamberge Dragon. Floodgate isn't gonna do anything about that. The Fire King Island can still pop face down monsters. Against Voiceless Voice, they can ritual summon using a face down monster as material. Everything goes away, and you don't really need Floodgate because of that. Traptrix Straphole Nightmare, on the other hand, if they use Garunix in their hand or in their graveyard, they special summon it, they trigger the effect, and you go Nightmare. The Garunix itself doesn't have a destruction effect, so this is actually a way to stop the Garunix from destroying anything in the deck that they want, and that's actually really, really amazing. And it also stops like random things along the way. It's never my priority, like I'll always prioritize a Gravedigger Straphole, But this card is like the second best right now, I feel. So yeah. And that's it for engine. That's 20 engine cards. It actually works out a lot in opening hands, like in testing. If half of your deck is engine, you're gonna see half of your opening hand. Like, I'm on a 41 card deck with 20 engine cards, which means I'm more like my hands tend to go more to 2 engine pieces in my opening hand, like 2 of these, and alongside 3 of the going second cards, which is exactly what I want. So yeah. Non-engine now. First things first, I'm on double Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. I love this card in Traptrix. It's a way to fix my hands when I'm going second. And against the Fire King deck, like the Snake Eye stuff, there are 2 opportunities where they have 2 Link monsters on board. So you'll get to summon this, draw 3, and put back 2. So you fix your hands like that. It's crazy. And the best thing about this is, since the deck, like the Snake Eyes deck, they summon Link monsters constantly in your turn as well, which means you can summon it in your opponent's turn and in your own turn. So even as a 6th card, it's still good to have. So yeah. Also the fact that, like, the non-targeting thing, like if they target, you can discard a card to negate and destroy. That actually helps as well. So yeah. Triple Droll and Lockbird. I still think in a deck like this, the card is mandatory. If you're playing like Snake Eyes or Voiceless Voice or like a top meta contender, you don't need to play 3 of this. You don't really stop anything completely with Droll and Lock this format. So having 1 or 2 in the meta decks is actually fine. In a non-meta deck like Traptrix, you need 3. So definitely go for 3. Triple Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. I have been contemplating this a lot if I was gonna play it or not, because you don't want to give them a free extender with the Hita. But the reason why I still keep playing this is because it's just that good. If they tribute 2 cards to try and summon the Flambirds from their deck, and you Ash that, like if they are already under like another hand trap, like they've been Veilered, they've been Impermed, you draw and lock them, like stuff like that, and you Ash them then, it's just detrimental for their place. Like they often have 1 starter, 2 starters maybe, but they're not often gonna have 3 starters. And I am actually, with this build, hoping for 3 hand traps. So that I have 3 points of interaction, and they will probably have 3 points of starting, but like the Ash often clutches it then at that point, and then they can't go even into Hida. So I don't really mind having the Ash. On top of that, Ash Blossom is just too important. The lab matchup is really difficult for this deck, because it's all about who gets to their engine the fastest, and Ash Blossom just helps with that so much. It's good against Runic, because you can stop the draw 3. Even though it's only once, it might actually help stop snowballing them. So this is really important. And against the Voiceless matchup, like stopping the pre-prep is really, really good. Stopping, like you can stop a lot. And then there's also Branded in the format. Branded Fusion, I don't have to say anything. Ash Blossom just kills that. That's amazing. You need that, you want that. You can't afford not playing it in this deck. Double Goes Well in Haunted Mansion. I love this card, this format. Oh my god, how many times it always comes up. Like I draw 2. I have both of them in my opening hand. I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? In their turn, I have a couple of hand traps. I can Goes Well their Flambird Dragon, for instance. The fun thing is, now they don't get their setup. It's all there. They might have the Link 3 in their graveyard, the Princess. And it goes back to you. Now in your turn, whenever you do something, they try to Promethean Princess you have the second Goes Well. This card's also good in your own turn, and things that are good in your own turn as well are so much better in this format. Like Ash Blossom, like great card, but the utilities in your own turn are not that great this format as in some other formats. But like against Labyrinth, like Ash Blossom in your own turn is amazing as well. So Yeah, these are so awesome. To accompany the Ghost Bells, because I do really like Ghost Bell, but it doesn't cover everything. I'm also on double DD Crow. I put these in over Nibiru's because in this deck I really don't like Nibiru. Every time I have it, my opponents either play around it, they play through it, I have to sacrifice my own field to get it on board, on a crucial spot, so it's always bad for me, the Nibiru. And I put in DD Crows instead, like for one, for the Fire King deck, because hitting that stuff is really important, but also for the Voiceless Voice deck. If they get low in the graveyard, to summon the Skull Guardian. If they don't, they have to trigger the low to get it on the board. But if they don't get it on the board, then the Skull Guardian doesn't have an Omni Negate. DD Crow the low. If they try to chain block it with anything, you have the DD Crow to actually stop it. Goes well, really amazing in that instance as well. But if you have 4 cards to stop that, it's just so much better than only having the 2. So yeah. DD Crow, amazing. Also amazing in the lab matchup. It's great in a lot of matchups in this deck, so I really like it. Double Effect Veiler. I'm not on 3 Veilers. I know, I really wish I could be, but I think Double Veiler and Triple Impum is actually enough. I have 5 cards to negate Snake Eye Ash. I have 18 hand traps in total, I believe. 17. I have 17 hand traps in total, which actually is enough. Like I have the Phantasmate Dragon as well to just cycle into my stuff, and I can't even tell you guys how much time that I have Double Veiler in my opening hand. Like it's crazy, and having 2 Veilers and Triple Impum is actually enough. You don't need the 3rd Veiler. You could play it like if you want even more effect negation, you can take out one of the other hand traps, just play this instead. But I like the versatility of having the 2, having 5 of something in this deck is really important for me number wise. So I have like against the lab deck, I have 3 Ash, 2 Bell. That's 5. Against the Snake Eyes deck, if I want this, I have 5 of this. So there's always that. I have 5 things in my deck to stop the graveyard. I have 2 DD Crow, I have 2 Bell, and I have the 1 Called By. That's 5. I really like that number. It's something in my head that really screams it's a good ratio. It makes you see the cards in a consistent manner. So yeah. But yeah, as I said, 17 hand traps. I really like these. They've been really great for me. It might seem a lot, and sometimes there are hands where you have like 4 or 5 hand traps. 5 is kind of dicey. you don't really like 5 because you don't have engine, but that happens, of course, if you play that much and a non-engine. But oftentimes, even with 5, you actually stop them enough, and in your turn, you draw, like, your 6th card is engine, so it's all fine. And then, as I've said before, Called By is another one, and then triple Cosmic Cyclone. I just love this card, this format. Cosmic Cyclone is really good against every deck. Sometimes, like the pure Snake Eyes, they kind of play around it with the Field Spell and Flamberge both on the field, but then you just keep this for crucial timing. You can. It's a quick play. You can play it whenever you want. You don't have to use it as your first card, which is really important. Also, like in the lab matchup, this is so crucial. Like going first. If you're going first, I never set this in the lab matchup. If I know it's Labyrinth, I just keep it in my hand because oftentimes they go end phase, use their effects, they set a card, and when the clock actually triggers to get to the board, you chain this and their trap is gone, and they've used 3 or 4 cards to get to the trap, and it's just gone. And just that interaction alone, on top of the rest of your field, is just enough often. Don't get mistaken against the Voiceless Voice matchup. I made a misplay on that because I didn't know how the deck worked on beforehand, but don't side these out against Voiceless. These cards are amazing. Like against the continuous spell, you need to get rid of that thing because targeting is really important, and if you can only attack the 4100 guy, you're not in a good spot, so yeah. But that's already it for the main deck. I really love this kind of build. It's 20 engine, 21 non-engine, so you see non-engine more often. But most of the cards that I'm playing are really good in my opponent's turn and in my own turn, so that's actually the kind of secret of the deck. Then, extra deck first. Triple Traptrix Serra, still the heart and soul of the deck. I love it. And then a sneaky one, one Salamangreat Almirage. You might think, why are you playing the Almirage if you're not playing the Parallel Exceed? Well, I am actually siding the Parallel Exceed for this format. I'll get there when the side deck comes, but I think it's important for a couple of reasons. So yeah, so one Salamangreat Almirage. It is a fire, so do watch out. If you summon it, they can Hida it back. That's always a thing. It has been on my mind because I am playing this that I can run Hida myself. But the main part where I want to use this is in going first post siding to summon my negates. And then I need the Almirage with Parallel Exceed. In case I don't see a Traptrix monster, because if I need my negate, then this is the out. So yeah. IP Masquerena and Little Knight, I just love these. These come up in so many games, it's crazy. One Traptrix Adipus. I don't summon this as often as you might think, but when you do need it for OTK, you're just glad that you have it. And then the final one, Borolo Dragon. I'll stand by this card. Oh my god. The fact, if you make this with an IP Masquerena, they cannot target this with card effects, and they cannot destroy this with card effects. Which means no Kirin to pop this, no SP Little Knight, no Promethean Princess, no Flamberge Dragon to put this in the spell and trap zone. All the engine parts of the deck don't work on this. So that means that they can get over this just by brute force. And if they do that, you stop that play and you go for that play. Like, you know that they're gonna try and summon the Salamangreat, the Link 4. You know that they're gonna try and summon Access Code Talker just to run over this. So you anticipate on that and you keep your negate, your interruption just for that moment. And this card can win you games on its own. It's crazy. The card is nuts. If you get it on the board with an IP Masquerena, say less. Exceeds, Pinguicola, Rafflesia. These are my only two Traptrix monsters right now for the Exceeds. And I actually love Pinguicola more. Pinguicola, whenever an opponent's monster is destroyed, you can actually take that. So what happens a lot is where the Garunix, when it hits the board, it destroys a Kirin in the deck, and the Kirin attempts to resummon something to destroy. So if you have the Pinguicola, you can chain Pinguicola to the Kirin effect, take the Kirin and put it underneath, and now it's unaffected for that same Kirin, which means that this can't be popped. And if they can't get over this in the battle because you have the field spell or because you have other kind of interruptions after that, then this is there to stay and you can just surge next turn. So yeah, this is crazy. The card is nuts. Rafflesia in itself, I am playing it still. The card is good. When you're locked in insects and plants because of the Arachnocampa, you sometimes just have to make this. It's the best one that you can make. And also, like, post game 1, when I have the Parallel Exceeds in, it just makes Rafflesia much better. So yeah. Redoer. Traptrix monster. This could just as well be Traptrix Redoer. You make it with Holotea. This card is non-targetable removal, which is really amazing. It happens a lot when I make this that I can steal spell cards from the opponent, and that's just fun. Just extra draws. One Typhon. This card doesn't come up as much, but when it does, it's really important. You can summon it as your 5th summon, so they can't nib you, which is already really important. And another fun thing with this, like sometimes when I take a monster with the borrow load, and then that monster is bigger than my borrow load, I can just put Typhon over that. I can banish that monster with the field spell as well to summon something back. Typhon is really fun in this. If the opponent summoned more than twice from the extra deck, a simple Purika summon, put this on top of it, negate some cards, bounce something else. It's really important. Also against a branded matchup, because a lot of their things are 3000 or above. This is really, really good to summon then. And then of course, the package, Ptolemaeus, Constellar Diamond, and Durandal. I love making this to combat evenly matched Lightning Storm, stuff like that. But it's really hard to make this going first in a minimalistic build. And that is actually the reason I put the Parallel Exceeds in my side deck for now. Just for the going first matchups. It's easier to make them if you're already feeling safe, you have your plays, then you can make this next to Arflesia, actually have the full board. Durandal can negate and evenly matched, and it has some really neat tricks with Draw and Lock, but that's in a future video. So yeah, that's it for the extra deck. Oh, one more thing, Diamond, really fun to make in the lab matchup. Like if you're going second, you can just, in the main phase 2, make this, put this on top, and you have a 3 material Constellar Diamond. So the opponents, you can just negate their dark effects, which is actually really fun. But yeah, that's it for the extra deck, side deck. First things first, the triple Parallel Exceed. I've already named them a couple of times. I don't want to main deck these. The reason being SP Little Knight and Promethean Princess. So in the instance where you're playing and you went second because you're always gonna go second with Traptrix. Imagine you have a Traptrix monster, you have Parallel Exceed in your hand. Okay, you make the Serra. At this point, you're gonna activate Parallel Exceed to summon it. Okay, the opponent has an SP or a Promethean Princess. They just chain it, destroy the Serra, banish the Serra, and now your Parallel Exceed is dead in your hand. Oh great, another dead card. This could have been a hand trap to just stop their entire play. And at that point, the minimalistic play of having Serra with a trap was actually better than having this in the turn 2 situation. I don't like these when I'm going second. It's not the greatest card as it is, because it just adds onto your board, which makes you weaker for everything that board wipes. And going second, it just feels so lackluster. I'm not playing Exiton, I'm not playing Zeus. Going second, I really don't like these. And I didn't want to have that shot where you go to a tournament, you lose 5 out of your 8 die rolls, and you get these every turn, and oh my god, it could be so bad. No, the thing that I like to do is when I know I'm gonna go first, like most of the time, hopefully game 3, side these in, the opponent sides in evenlies and stuff. I have my combo, so either with Serra or with Salamangrate Almirage, I don't mind which one that I have to make. If I have a hand trap, I have a lot of those hand traps. I have like 12 hand traps that are 1000 stack or lower. If I have that with a Parallel Exceed, I'm happily gonna go for it. So yeah, and then you can just like if you have these, you can just make whatever you want and combo off, and that's the importance of this card. And I'm siding it in just for the matchups where I know I'm going to go first, and that's the most important thing. Double Ghost Murder and Moonlit Chill. I don't really have a specific reason to side these in, but I just like them. Going second, the card is really great because it's an additional copy of Effect Veiler and Imperm, but it's also a great time going into time. Like great card going into time, because when the opponent removes the monster that this card had targeted, they take the damage equal to that monster's attack. So it doesn't have a downside to it like the Spooky Dogwood, where you could be halving your own life, and this card is it's just additional sort of damage. I've had games where I use this, and my opponent, like on a Flamber Dragon, for instance, and that thing has 3,000 attack. They remove from the field. They're now at 5,000, stuff like that, and playing the two Gravekeeper's Gravedigger trap holes, that's getting a lot of damage in, and that's like, it comes out of nowhere. But if the opponent doesn't realize that they're getting low, Gravedigger trap holes are just blocking their entire plans, and that's great. And these are just doubling up on that. So yeah, you can't get me away from this card. Every time that a site is in and I see it, it's great. Skullmeister. I'm gonna keep saying it. In Traptrix, this card is amazing. I don't know what it is. I sided in against the Voiceless matchup. I sided in the lab matchup, and those are two really prevalent matchups right now. This negating a big welcomes effect in the graveyard to bounce your Traptrix can actually be game changing. This card can actually stop the Saphira ritual summon effect in the graveyard. So it stops the entire Voiceless Voice play. If they get through that still and you have the Skullmeister, this stops the low from getting back to the field. So it stops so much. The card is amazing in that matchup. So yeah. Double Soul Release. I am on a very specific set right now because I'm playing Double Soul Release, 1 Triple Tactic Talents, and Double Trust. I have my reasons in several matchups, but that's coming in the siding video. I just wanted to show them already. I think this is enough for a lot of decks. Going second or going first, you can actually use this really well. For the traps to combat with the Trust, I also have 1 different Dimension Ground and 1 evenly matched. It's actually something that's really great. So I have it a lot where I summon a Traptrix monster, they remove from the board with an SP Little Knight, and now they are completely vulnerable to Thrust with evenly matched. So yeah, it is a thing. That was it for the deck profile. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll hope I see you guys in the other videos I'm gonna make. See ya!